The passion, the thrill.
The story you told me is incredible. It's amazing.
And they will live forever.
Don't make me do this. I cannot!
Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. Interview with the Vampire. Rated R.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Gray Media. This is Josh here, checking in on you out there in YouTube land. YouTube, it's Friday Eve. We have got one more day until the weekend. I'm sitting on a three-piece, a little 3-day weekend, and tonight we are talking about one of my favorite movies of all time. If you've been following along, I like a lot of movies. I don't really review that many movies that I don't like. If I'm just watching something for the first time or I buy something blind buy, I'm gonna crap on it. I'm gonna totally, I'll keep it real with you the best that I can, but I mean, it's October. I kind of want to talk about the movies that I like on my channel, if that's cool. And this is one that's the understatement to say that I like it or I love this movie. This movie is so important to me. It's so important to my wife. Like, this is going to be a little sentimental for me, so it's going to be kind of a love story. I hope you're in the mood. Glass of wine, something really dark, maybe some burgundy, some Bordeaux, something dark. We've got 14 days until Halloween. Buckle up. Thanks for being here. We're checking out 1994's masterpiece, Interview with the Vampire. 1994's Interview with the Vampire is based off one of my favorite novels penned by one Anne Rice. It's mandatory, a must read. This was the first time in my life I wished I was born in a different part of the country in a different time, but it wouldn't be the last. There's something so striking right out the gate about this film. The easy answer, of course, is the cast. Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Kirsten Dunst, Antonio Banderas, Christian Slater. That is a 90s powerhouse and a cheat code for a cinematic all-timer. In 94, I was just a young kid, but not young enough to not notice the impact of Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Even to a smaller extent, Christian Slater. The impact on the small world that consisted of Washington State anyway. In the 90s, Legends of the Fall was everywhere, as was Tom Cruise. But so it goes, on a fateful family camping trip, I found and procured this fabled VHS. On a dirty fold-out card table it sat. Interview with the Vampire. I'll never forget that first image of Lestat. What the hell is this? This was around the same time period that those creatures of the night cohabitated with the other Prince of Darkness, Nosferatu, and vampires were way in. And so it goes. I push play on the old Magnavox Hi-Fi and the tape reels wound. A David Geffen production, like from Beetlejuice. This is a good start, I remember thinking. I had no idea how effective this movie was fixing to be. After a slow introduction from Anne Rice herself, we are greeted by Louis, who gives us a somber introduction and bends time and space to the fear of this narrator. The movie then unfolds a tale of old world New Orleans. What a place. Where in the world is this, and how do I get there, I remember thinking. The tapestry, pageantry, food, and vibe transported me through time, and I was there, on the Natchez, and I too wanted to be a part of this vampire world. The story unfolds as a tragedy and a moral dilemma, a real damned if you do and damned if you don't for Louis. He loses his family and is at a place where he prays for death, and unfortunately for him, it was listening. This is where the bulk of this story takes place. Grief, desperation, and a moral conscience. Louis is given the choice Lestat the vampire never had. Drink of me and live forever, it claims, but that eternity left out a lot of details. The sets, sounds, and shots of this film are first-rate, incredible. Brilliant pacing, effects, and attention to detail really put this over the top for me. I've met people who aren't impressed with this film, and I don't get it. When I watch this film, I feel like I'm in the 1700s, and life was very different. I can smell and taste this film. The mist of the Mississippi, the dust and the embers of the Paris catacombs. This is fucking excellent. Every character, every word uttered works, but it does help to have such terrific source material. It does a lot by doing so little. It almost films kind of like a stage play with some really extravagant sets. You feel and you ache for these characters because they're so relatable. I've never hated a character as much as I hated Tom Cruise's Lestat. but there was this eternal sadness to him. He started to win me over as this movie went on. And sure, the gore and the design of the vampires, they all play a role with the idea of the immortality. It looked exhausting and bleak, but not at first. When Louis first dies and that statue like winks at him, dude, like that is a moment. I mean, the scene where the woman's being toyed with about whether or not she's actually dead, and then she's placed in the casket, and he's like, don't worry, most of us don't get to know what this actually feels like. And then you got Claudia with the dead woman in her bed with the dolls. All super intense. There's so many perfect moments in this film. Shocking for a 10-year-old. Dripping with style and charisma, Interview with the Vampire was something special to aspire to. Something special to watch. How did Anne Rice write this? How did they film this, Neil Jordan, and how do I get to go there? You know, for the longest time, I have been obsessed with the Big Easy in New Orleans. From like films like this and reading stories and like all the history and culture and just that big melting pot down there in the bayou. I have always wanted to be from there. And I used to tell my friends, when I grow up, I'm going to meet a Southern girl. And that was my hope anyway. The Nola Metal scene, listening to that as I grew up with Acid Bath, I Hate God, Crowbar, that sludge movement, Down, and then Pantera later. Many of those stories take place in that part of the world where the constant threat, the environment, hurricanes, humidity, snakes, gators, voodoo, life itself down there is just a real struggle, and it always appealed to me. And then I meet this girl. I start talking to her. We kind of get close. We start kind of casually dating, and then things start to snowball. And guess what? I had no idea that she was from my favorite place. I couldn't write that story if I tried. Guy meets girl, girl's from New Orleans, and goes on to take him home, bless him with the son, change his life. Interview with the Vampire is very important to me, and it changed my life when I watched it, and guess what? It's my wife's favorite movie too, so fate is a powerful thing. All right, folks. Well, that's it. If you haven't seen Interview with the Vampire, hopefully my little story, maybe you'll get out there and check it out. If you do like this movie and you love it, let me know down in the comments below. If you don't, that's cool, man. Don't crap on my sunrise. I'm having a great time. Love you guys so much. If you want to see more from me, please like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do. Follow me on social media. Take care of yourselves. I got some more stuff coming soon, and I'm thinking about doing an Interview with the Vampire Part 2 on Monday, where I sit down with my wife and we just kind of like have some banter about why we love this film. Because, I mean, if Tuesday night we didn't know what to watch, I put that on, nobody spoke for 2 hours. Love that film. Love y'all. Cheers.